We have news to share.
Do we?
Yes. This has felt like we've been in a bit of purgatory for the last year and a half of planning and
Yeah, I think so. It's just
secrets.
not secrets, but just
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're moving
We're moving to Europe.
to Europe.
Not you.
I love you. Why are we moving?
Why are you moving?
Not sure. Obviously, life is not guaranteed. Health is not guaranteed. And so why not make, one day one. I'm going to copyright that and put some t-shirts.
Okay.
I think it's just that kind of common sense of urgency of like, why wouldn't we do something that we've separately and together been dreaming about?
Yeah, I think we've always wanted. I mean, I've certainly always wanted to move to Europe. I wanted to be an archaeologist before I found out it made nothing. And actually went to school preliminarily to be an archaeologist. So yeah, I wanted to move to Europe, and I think my family's aware of this since before I was 15 or 16 when I started dreaming about finding Alexander the Great's lost tomb. So, I mean, things changed and different paths opened up, and now we're reopening this path up.
Yeah. My plan as far as work goes is the CVB and my work community leadership was never meant to be a marathon. I think everyone's pretty aware that it was a hard sprint. We've been sprinting pretty hard the last 6 years. And I'm not seasoned for public work. It's pretty hard on my mental health, and I have a hard time separating work from just your existence. And so I will be leaving the CVB at the end of the year. So we'll be doing the search probably when you're watching this video. The search will be open for the new executive director of the CVB. Once we get over there, I'll probably reopen the tomb of Holly's entrepreneurship trinkets and see what we can play with, whether that's photography or doing some pet sitting or some other things, marketing, remote work, things like that. I think we'll pull on those strings once we get there. I need a little break, need a little breather, probably.
And my plan is, at this point in time, which has taken some time to get to, stay on remotely and still continue to work with Alita in the city of Albert Lea and Freeborn County, and any way we can to help continue to move things forward, like several of our projects that we're working on right now, and just go from there.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Another reason why we're moving to Europe is to travel.
Yeah, of course.
We've been traveling quite a bit. We've seen quite a few countries in the last 3 years together. And, with my fear of flying shifting into a kind of weird friendship that I have with flying now, where I really love it or it's attempting to kill me. Our desire is to see a whole lot of the world, and by moving over there, we'll be able to be really close to all sorts of different places. So travel is one of the main reasons also.
Yeah, we have a long list of places we want to see. I think we've kind of developed that, and it's been no secret that we've loved to travel over the past few years. I continually told people I wanted to make up for lost time over COVID.
Yeah.
And I think I've been able to achieve that over the last few years, and trying to do that even more so. And in this case, it'll be kind of weekend getaways. We've done a lot of weekend getaways here, and this will be a little bit different. We'll be doing weekend getaways to Venice, Florence, Naples, places like that. Obviously, that's very Italy focused, but a lot of other places.
So we're really excited about Italy.
And then societal change and slower pace of life, different kinds of healthcare situations. End of day, we kind of figured out that we wanted to give this a try. We're currently in a place where we believe we can give it a try, and health-wise, we've had some situational things come up, and so we want to make sure that we're at the point in our life where we can at some point move this forward, and waiting a ton longer just didn't seem like it would mesh up.
Yeah, it kind of feels like when you get over your 20s that you're never healthier, the next day. So time is a wasting, but also, especially with our situations with the, health stuff that has come up over the last year for both of us, I think it's been pretty eye-opening about the healthcare system and how frustrating that can be, and that becomes a whole daunting task. Your physical health and then now your mental and emotional health comes into play. So we're really excited to have, some great healthcare, and it's not gonna be a huge part of our budget. And so that's kind of the reasons why. Where are we exactly moving to in Europe for the first year?
We're moving to Albania. Most of you probably don't know where that is, or have never heard of it. Quite frankly, I don't know if Holly had heard of it before I brought it up.
Well, the movie Taken. Sex trafficking is not as prominent in Albania as, what's his name?
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, Liam Neeson wants to make you believe. I think that's really all people's experience with it is in the public sphere. Albania is located in the Balkans. And I'm gonna talk about this because I feel like I've got a real education over the last 3 years of history and geography, which were neither things that excited me as a youth. So Albania is located just east of Italy, and specifically Vlora, where we'll be located for the first year, is just right off of the heel of the boot. So we have Montenegro and Croatia to the north of us, and Greece to the south of us. Comparable in size to New Hampshire. So very small, you can drive through it in the same day, and so you can get to other countries very quickly.
Yeah, I think it's very centrally located. Vlora itself has just built an international airport, which will help us go easily to other locations pretty quickly. Itself actually is now, I know it's called the Balkans, or we have called it the Balkans, and because of how it was situated with USSR, it's actually technically Central Europe. Is the location where it's at. I know a lot of people don't consider that, but that's actually the new reality of where things are located. And places like Croatia become very hot for people to go to travel-wise. Montenegro is moving that way, and just south of both of those countries is Albania. And the new airport and the new marina that they're going to be putting up will probably quickly make it also a major hotspot in tourist locations. So the cost of living, which is 60% of what the U.S. is, may drastically change. But a big piece of that is, and why we're going there, one of the main reasons why is that visa-free, anybody watching this video who holds a U.S. passport can go there for a whole year without a visa. And you only have to reset that after being out of the country for 90 days. So that makes it pretty easy to choose that, along with a host of other reasons.
Yeah, I think Georgia is the only other country that has that agreement with the U.S. passport system. So that makes it very tantalizing for folks that we don't want to necessarily commit to one place by going through visa process or residency right out the gate. We want to test our feet in different places. So we forecast that Albania will probably be the place that we not just dip our toes, but maybe plant some roots there. But we don't want to make that, a guarantee. So without, seeing the place.
Yeah, we're not going into too many details. When you start to look into the reality of having a residency permit in different areas, especially in the EU, bureaucracy and tax implications become a heavily weighed aspect of that. It's not to say that when we first looked at it, obviously Croatia was one of our first choices. We love places like Portugal. Obviously we love Italy, and I've just read into too many situations where it's a little more of a headache to look into those areas. This is a nice trial period and may end up being where we'd like to be, because locationally, the weather, all those different things, it matches a lot of things that we like. And we'll continue to progress as a nation itself. They're very young nations in consideration, in some sense, very young and very old. Very old in the sense that they hold a lot of history, They've had a lot of changes, very young in how they are into this new globalized world after the wars that had taken place over the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, 91, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I think they're going to continue to consistently grow. It may be the case that they ultimately become part of the EU too, and that will change different monikers there. But yeah, we're gonna test it out. It's kind of like when I moved to California. You know, nothing was permanent, and I was looking to go there to see how I liked it. I ended up spending 5 years there, and a lot of people asked me why I left. And at the end of the day, you know, I had other opportunities like this one in Albert Lea, and took that opportunity, and we'll see what happens with this.
Yeah. You mentioned Montenegro and Croatia, so that was kind of initially where we were looking when we were kind of scoping out the you know, vastness of options. And unfortunately, little puppy Risa can be a problem child in more ways than one. So not just her allergies and her general demeanor, but just her being in that bully breed creates a lot of little hoops to jump through when we're over in Europe. So the map, there's not a super great like updated map, but the map, when I, you know, started to draw my own plan on where are there legislation that basically says absolutely no bullies, or maybe, or yes, but they have to be muzzled, or, you know, registered, all this stuff. Open countries where there were absolutely no BSL were pretty few and far between. And unfortunately, when we're going to be traveling with both Panda, the kitty, and Reese, we need to be able to travel by ground transport. So then we're going through other countries to get, you know, to our destination, and there's all sorts of customs issues that come up with that too. So unfortunately, Croatia has pretty strong BSL, you know, bans. That kind of led us to looking at Montenegro, and then we just kind of kept going south and thought, well, Albania looks even better. It just kept getting cheaper and more beautiful. That was one of the main reasons, and that will be kind of a determiner for where we then go for our 90 days after the year is up to rinse and repeat our passport, you know, our availability to be able to be in Albania. So that'll kind of depend on where we go as well in the future.
So what are some more fun reasons why we chose this area? It's located on the Mediterranean Sea, specifically the Adriatic Sea. Actually, Vlora itself is like partially like the what they call the Albania Riviera is partially Adriatic and the Ionian Sea. Consider like San Diego weather. If you've ever been to San Diego, 300 days of sunshine. You know, the highest it's going to get is lower 90s. The lowest it's going to get in the 40s. The country itself has beautiful landscape.
Oh my goodness.
Has the Alps, what they call the Albanian Alps, is a continuation of the actual Alps. Komani Lake is like Thailand. They got lagoons with flamingos, hiking, snorkeling.
3,000 flamingos. I cannot wait to take some videos. Don't finish those little pinkies.
And just like Europe, hundreds to thousands of historical sites dating from Romans to Ottomans to, you know, even back to like Venetians when they controlled different parts and ports of this area.
Yep.
So a lot of things that ticked our box, and Vlora itself is around 150,000 people.
Yep.
So a little larger than probably, you know, we were expecting at first, but a good size in the course of what we were trying to do. Not too small, but also not too large just in terms of millions of people and stuff like that. The country itself only has 3 million people. So.
And when you kind of start to research Albania and you see the popular areas in which people go to and want to visit in large cities on the coast, Vlora is obviously on the list, but I would say it's the lowest on the list for its touristiness.
Yeah.
Which we like because that means that in the off season, we're still going to have all of the amenities because there's still 150,000 people that need to go to the market, go out for drinks, be able to get supplies, have a fun time. There are a lot of other places that are really beautiful also, but this place just kind of, the pro list just kept growing the landscape versus other cities that we looked at. So Vlora is set up very flat, and it goes, I would say, back to the east quite a bit before the mountains go up. There are a lot of places where the mountains just dump right into the ocean or the sea. We're supposed to be calling it a sea. We're not going to have a vehicle. We want to do a lot of public transport or get some bikes or get a bike or get a scooter. We're not going to be having to hoof it up, some treacherous, mountainside. We can still go to the mountains, but the Longamore, which is kind of the walking path that I think is 3 miles or something long, which is where everything is set up, is very flat and very walkable. So we're very excited about that part as well for daily walks and going to get stuff. It seems like it's going to be a really great setup. What is our plan? Well, we're selling the house. Signed our purchase agreement today. We hope to be closed the beginning of October. So we'll be moving into an apartment for the last 3 months that we're here then, from October to December. We'll need to sell all of our crap. Which
we've done a pretty good job of continually doing. We accumulate a lot of stuff, but I think we'll figure it out before October 1st.
The mindset shift is you're not moving into another house, you're not downsizing to an apartment, coming from a house like 2-3 bedroom home into a studio apartment. This is, we're gonna have how many suitcases, Philip?
4 suitcases and a couple backpacks.
Just want to make sure it's still 4. So this is like not just things that, Marie Kondo you still love. This is like, what do you actually physically need and can't buy when you're over there, or do you need at all? Because consumerism has got a grip, I think, on both of us a little bit. So it'll be fun.
I think it's like I used to move all the time. When I move from place to place, I got to throw out all my junk and restart and
start over.
Something very freeing about that.
January 2nd, we start our trek, and we'll get over there with the 2 of us and the kitty. And we've already locked in our 1 month stay. So we did book our first 1 month stay in Vlora through Airbnb. So we'll be there for a month. We've heard and done a lot of research, and it really feels like boots on the ground is going to be the best case scenario for us locking in our long-term lease. So you need to be there to see it and smell it. And I think for us, that first month is not just going to be locking in the long-term lease, but also and looking at apartments, but making sure we know where we want to be, because that area is so long. Do we want to be close to the action or a little bit further away from it because it's really loud and crazy in the summer months? Or are we too far away and it's going to be treacherous to get to the market and get to downtown on foot or on bikes? So I think that'll be really fun, kind of seeing what the lay of the land is once we get there. This is the super fun part. Then I will come back in February and get Risa, because she's unable to fly under the belly of the plane, because she's the beast. We'll be taking a K9 Jets flight from New Jersey to Milan. Philly will meet us in Milan, and we will drive down Italy and ferry over to Vlora. Not without effort. But then she'll be over there.
Little private jet experience to a road trip in Italy. Onto a ferry. So not the worst situation in the world. Feels pretty bougie for a stray mutt.
I'm talking about the duck. Then the next step would be we'd be there for 365. Our time with the passport would be relinquished, and we'd need to leave for 90 days.
Correct.
So we're thinking that that's probably going to be Montenegro, just out of ease of transport. First time getting the whole family moved. So just head north. We've done a lot of research on Montenegro, and we think it's a really beautiful, fun spot too. I think it's just going to basically come down to what kind of apartment we can lock in for those winter months, because I think it'll be February, March, April. So it'll just kind of depend on what's available and how that all looks. And then during that 90 days, we will make our first trip back to the US to visit family. We do plan to have our family come out and visit us over the first year. I think we're going to do a little joint trip together. Venice.
Venice
I think
first,
is on the docket. Yeah. So they'll come and see us, and then we'll shoot off to Venice all together and do a little adventure together. So, yeah, I think that's all the things.
I think that sums it up for now.
Mainly, we wanted to make sure people knew what was going on. We know that hearsay can happen, and through the grapevine of like what we're doing and what's happening, especially with work and stuff, we want to make sure that everybody knows we have very public jobs. So we wanted to make sure that people had information about where to find what we're going to be up to. So we'll be doing videos on, you know, not just our big adventures, like when we go to Venice with our parents and when we visit Naples, which will be the first destination. Also on a daily basis, like we watch a lot of YouTube videos, and we're always curious about cost of living, what the comparison is going to the market, what's apples to apples literally. So we'll be doing some daily videos too. So you can check us out on our website and then link to YouTube. But we'll have blog and all sorts of stuff. And then obviously my entrepreneurial trinkets will be on the website as well. So there will be some remote things that I want to do so we can still be in touch that way. So that'll be at thesillygooses.com. Because
we're a couple of silly gooses.
Yes. So we'll have itineraries also posted. So if you're curious about going, I know a couple people have already reached out about Iceland, and we've talked a lot about people, you know, visiting Iceland after our first video that we did there. We'll be on Facebook and Instagram. And then, yeah, I think that's the whole story.
Yeah, I think that's about it. And you'll be able to figure out and follow where we're at for the most part. And yeah, I mean, I think we're very excited about it. It's been a lot of work these past few months, and so we're just trying to get to the point where we can be more excited about it at this point in time. Obviously, if you find out via Facebook or somebody else and we didn't get to you, we apologize. It's a lot of meetings to set up with a lot of people and a lot of considerations about when and how to tell people when you're trying to figure different situations out. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, you know, this is what we believe is right for us, and we're pretty excited about it. And I'm very excited to still work and help Albert Lea grow in the future. Yeah.
And I'm excited to watch. Like from a seat that's like a little further away. Maybe let us know if you have more questions about Albania or the whole moving process, or, you know, anything. Let us know, and we'll try to answer the best that we can.